Well, hello everybody. Hope you're all doing fantastically well. It's Connor here without the sunglasses. I saw Jeff marching on together 1964. Didn't like my sunglasses, so I took them off. There you go, Jeff, you miserable git. And we're here. My eyes are out, don't worry, even though I'm squinting. The reflection of the white buildings isn't good for these 30-year-old beads. But we're back here discussing the championship running, part 159, as we sort of get to the final furlong, the final hurdle. Leeds United going into this absolutely massive period of time. And I wanted to share with you guys the sort of running schedule, what I think, and how this is going to go down. So plain and simple, it's going to be an absolute bolt between all of us. It's going to be almost like, when we came back from the international break last time and it was the final 8-9 games and we're all like, oh my goodness, this is it. This is it. We're all going. That checkered flag is coming down and this is it. This is going to be the biggest sort of race in our recent history. It happened and it's not been great, has it? It's not been great since the international break, really, and that checkered flag has been severely ripped and left out in the rain, and Leeds United have left it tattered at this moment in time, but we need to get a fresh checkered flag on there and really go for it, sort of Lewis Hamilton style. So let's get talking on the fourth team at this moment in time. I think it's important to start fourth to top right now. So Southampton running. It's something we briefly spoke about as well the other day. Preston at home for Southampton, coming up obviously 5 games I should say left, obviously 15 points up for grabs. Preston at home, which was obviously the win that they had the other night. I think that's a massive win really for them. It was a dominant performance. It was impressive, as I mentioned the other day. Armstrong on the score sheet, Adams on the score sheet as well, and when you're talking about these two, even at championship level, you're thinking, wow, it's a good pedigree of side. And we spoke about this before, with Bednarek in there, Taylor Howard-Bellis, Kyle Walker-Peters. A lot of people sort of ignore the fact that this is a very, very decent championship side, and Russell Martin has a good side at his disposal. But their sort of bad patch arrived in Feb when they lost to Bristol City. Hull and Millwall sort of either side of a 2-0 success of West Brom in the space of 12 days. The West Brom result was mad. It was like, where has that come from? And you thought that would be the final nail in the coffin, really, but good result at West Bromwich Albion. But a run of 4 wins and only 1 defeat in the last 7 games, including Alaska's 3-2 victory over Watford has edged them back into the hunt. But points on the board in the latter stage of the season are precious, and I've got down on here Saints are playing a difficult catch-up, which they are. It's going to be difficult for them to get back into it, but then you look at the trajectory of all they need. When you've got 4 games remaining, you've beaten Preston, goals to nil, a clean sheet, Coventry, a recent victory as well, a really good victory there. They're right back in it on 84 points, really. They're right back in it. But they do face difficult trips, obviously, to Leeds United, which I don't know if it's that difficult at this moment in time. They still have to go to Leicester as well, which, are they that difficult right now? Leicester might be, Southampton might be looking at Leicester and Leeds and thinking, well, form-wise, these two aren't great. What would we rather be facing? Teams hunting the playoffs, teams trying to stay up, or Leeds and Leicester right now who are faltering. They could potentially look at that and think they're decent fixtures. Be interesting to see how that pans out, but yeah, they've obviously got less taxing fixtures. I would say less taxing with Cardiff and Stoke, 2 teams with nothing to play for really. So we'll go up to Leicester in second place, and we'll finish on Leeds United. So running West Bromwich Albion at home, Southampton at home, Preston away, and Blackburn at home. Now Blackburn at home, we will say that Blackburn's away form has been tragic this season. They have beaten Leeds United. They have got Sami Szmodics. They have got a decent sort of set of players who potentially can cause some problems. But overall, you're expecting them to probably come through that one. West Brom and Southampton are going to be tough. I think really tough for Leicester, and they might not have enough. Preston away isn't going to be easy. Preston at home, you'd probably be looking at that and thinking it's a 3-pointer really. But they've suffered a real crisis of confidence at the wrong time. There was 17 points clear. We have to remember that of Leeds United. A 2-1 defeat at Middlesbrough on February 17th really was the start of the downfall. It launched a run of 10 league games, culminating obviously in their loss against Plymouth, which has seen since then them lose 6 times and collect just 10 points out of 30 available, which is a massive drop in form. It's huge, it's gargantuan really, and it sees them near the bottom when it comes to the form table, but it is in their own hands. You know, Leicester are still obviously in that running right now. They're second in the division. They've got 4 games left, which means they've got 12 points to play for as opposed to 15. When you look at you know, obviously, you know, what they had previously. But yeah, it's I think the significant one is going to be their Southampton's visit, but West Brom's going to be huge as well. But the beauty about what Leicester have right now is the home advantage, which they have. They have that home advantage. You know, if we look at the fixtures, 3 out of the 4 are at the King Power, and we've seen that they're not been great at home. So the top of the table, Ipswich, obviously they're on, played first in the league, I should say, played 43, 89 points and a plus 32 goal difference. Obviously Ipswich out of Leeds, Leicester and Town have the worst goal difference, but you put you know, Southampton in there as well. If you put Southampton in there, they have the worst goal difference of the 4, which could be pivotal. But when you're looking at their running, Hull away, Coventry away and Huddersfield at home as well. So they're unlikely till back-to-back promotions has hit the buffers in recent weeks. But, you know, a draw last time out is almost something that's quite significant at this moment in time. Obviously beaten by derby rivals at Norwich, which was a big one. But that sort of draw that they got at the weekend was significant because Leeds and Leicester obviously picked up unpredicted losses. But I guess when you look at it, when you look at their fixtures right now, and this is probably why it's quite comparable to Leeds, and it's something that we will get onto, but Hull and Coventry still do have something to play for. It's not mathematically uncertain that they're not going to get the playoffs, and Huddersfield, right at the bottom there, are within grasp of getting out of it. And that is a massive game for them, a huge game for them. That will not be easy. It will not be easy whatsoever. So I think Ipswich's running is very, very difficult as well. Now let's move down to the one that we've been waiting for, Leeds United. So like the 2 above us, we've suffered the most inopportune momentary wobble, which is obviously seen as lose to Coventry, and then lost for the first time of the season at home at Elland Road to a Sammy Schmodix winner. And you wonder how pivotal that is, because now we've got Leeds fans, including myself, having a conversation of, is it better for us to play away from home now? But then you look at the away from home since we've come back from the international break and we've been absolutely hideous. Coventry, we were god-awful. Or Watford was potentially the worst in terms of a team dominating us of the returnee fixtures. So I think overall we just need to sort it out. It's a general point here, an overall point that Leeds United just need to get their heads out of their arses right now and start performing to the level which they have done before. Whether or not that means the manager changing, being a little bit more pragmatic when it comes to formation changes. It's a huge period for him, Daniel Farkeman. It's a huge period for the Leeds United players as well. Let's not get around that. They're not just getting out of this, but it's a young squad, it's a young side, and the manager is the guy who said he's the man for this moment in time. So you've got to believe in him, you've got to trust in him. I'm trusting in him right now. I will judge him at the end of the season, of course, but I'm trusting in him right now for us to get over that line. But let's be honest, it's a tough run-in. Obviously Leeds with Middlesbrough away on Monday night, QPR away on Friday night, and then Southampton at home. So I said this in the previous video, I think our run-in is pretty much... it's identical, I think, in terms of difficulty to Ipswich. You know, you look at Middlesbrough's going to be really tough. QPR is going to be probably the easiest of the 3, but it's still going to be tough. You know, them still fighting. They could be out of the relegation zone fully by then if they get a win immediately, which will be good for Leeds because then they've got really nothing to play for and they're in that bracket. But then Southampton at home. Southampton haven't changed how they play all season really. So. Yeah, and obviously, depending on what happens with those Southampton games, they could be going into it needing the top 2 and needing to win that game. We know they're going to try and control the possession. Leeds have been sloppy in possession. Southampton are going into this run in form, so they're going to be a really difficult fixture at this moment in time. And when it comes to the form table, they're really high up now. So with Middlesbrough, so Leeds have got 2 teams in there who are very high in the form table. like Ipswich have when it comes to Hull City and Coventry. And then we've obviously got 2 relegation threatened teams, so it's going to be very, very, very tough. I don't know how to call it, everyone. My head is telling me it's playoffs for Leeds United, but my heart is telling me that we can still do it. But this Monday game against Middlesbrough, if we get a win, wow, what that will do to confidence. Then going into QPR, if we get 2 wins in a week, wow, could change everything. It could change absolutely everything, and it's game on again. But I just feel if we drop to Middlesbrough, could be it, because I think we're gonna see changes. But listen, it could swing the other way. You could see losses from the other side, and then you could see Leeds getting something and it narrowing the gap again. But it just feels, when I look at Southampton's fixtures, Cardiff away, Leicester away, Stoke at home, Leeds away, three out of their last 4 games are away from home, but they've not had a bad away record. So we'll have to wait and see, everybody. We'll have to wait and see how this will pan out. But I don't know. I think Southampton's running is tricky. Leeds is tricky. Leicester's is tricky, and Ipswich is. And maybe Ipswich have the best running of them all. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I'm not sure yet, but Leeds have to get something. 3 points at Middlesbrough. Let me know what you think. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you soon.